So, dear students, good evening to you. And today we have a session on feeling lucky at Sabaragamuwa University. So, this session is conducted by Professor Sandun Pereira. Sir is a professor at the Department of Natural Resources in our faculty. And currently, he is on leave and working for the IUC in Sri Lanka as a program coordinator. So we are very proud to say that Sir is a product of our own faculty, and amidst his busy schedule, he has agreed to conduct this session to you in your orientation program. So thank you so much, Sir, for accepting our invitation. And over to you, Sir, to conduct the session.
Thank you, Choshani. Thank you so much. So I'm really glad to be here, students. Can you hear me, Puta? I would like to hear the sound of the new batch.
Yes, sir.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, great. Thanks a lot for the response. It is really rewarding to hear you, especially when we are in the online mode. Sometimes you may think listening to a lecture in the online mode is difficult, but it's rather very difficult to conduct a lecture in the online mode because we teachers, I mean, either in the schools or in universities, anywhere, we being teachers, we want the interaction from the students, right? Choshani madam, who is coordinating the orientation program this year, is actually a student of the Sabaragamuwa University itself. So she was there as a student like you earlier. And now she has done her postgraduate degree abroad and has come back to Sri Lanka to serve you, to serve the mother university, to the alma mater. And it's the same with me as well. I have been a student in the Sabaragamuwa University almost a long ago. Actually, I couldn't really count the number of years, but it is 1997 that I entered the gates of the Sabaragamuwa University, right? So we all have now become teachers or lecturers here, and we want your interaction. We can't really speak to walls. We can't speak to the screens. It's really a difficult thing to do. So I would really like to hear you at least, because I can't see you. I mean, I can even ask to switch on your cameras, but I know that the bandwidth of the systems are going to collapse when so many cameras are on. So let's get to this lecture. Before getting into this lecture, I would also like to tell you a few things about your life, right? And I think this is the best time to talk about that. So we are a little different to the teachers that you see in the schools. You must have been meeting a number of lecturers by now, right? So if I just ask you, how many different lecturers conducted different sessions for you by now from the university? Can you raise your hands? Have you seen more than 10 lecturers by now in the online mode? Please raise your hands if you have seen more than 10. Good. Okay, I can see the interaction. That's wonderful. Okay, that's great. So you have met more than 10 lecturers in the university, I mean, right? If I ask you the same question, okay, lower the hands. Thank you. Thank you so much. If I ask you the same question, how many lecturers did you meet from your department? Is it more than 10? From your department? No one has seen more than 10 lecturers as yet, right? Okay. Is it more than 5? Raise your hands. More than 5 lecturers from your department. Good. Right. So wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Okay, yeah, great. Right. So you have at least seen more than 5 lecturers from your department, and you have seen more than 10 lecturers from the faculty, right? So you are registered to the Faculty of Applied Sciences of Sabaragamuwa University, and you are in one of the 5 departments within the faculty. And the department lecturers are the people who are going to be interacting with you on a daily basis from the day that you get to Belihulloya. I know that you are still dreaming to get to the university and not yet got the chance. And imagine these are the repercussions of what we started experiencing from 2019 onwards. So can you imagine how long-term impacts are coming from a single incident, a single global incident, that is COVID-19? Although it is COVID-19, the largest impact was in 2020. So the impact that was in 2020 from COVID-19 is still causing the university system of Sri Lanka not to get the intakes physically on time. But at least with delays, you guys are now in the university learning in online mode, which is something to be happy about, which is something to be relieved about, rather than staying at home without much of a plan, right? So, however, so now you are in a university, you are a registered student in the university, and you are going to meet lecturers on a daily basis from some time to come. So maybe it can be few months. In few months, you will be there in Belihulloya, and I'm sure the university will give priority to take the first years physically to the university, because that was a kind of a practice, or that was a condition that we wanted the students to wanted to have. We wanted the freshers in their first year to be physically there as soon as possible. That was something that we have been practicing over. And I myself have been the senior student counselor of the faculty, and I have been organizing these orientation sessions. I can't remember, maybe at least about 5, 6, and I have been talking in about 10. And in all these sessions, we made sure either just after the orientation or for the orientation itself, the freshers are in the university. Why we need the freshers in the university is that we need you to feel that your life is starting. Your life starts here. You have been under your parents, you have been under your teachers of the school, masters, for at least for the last 18 to 20 years of your life, right? This is a point that you become individual. This is a point that you become independent. But that independent life cannot really go as you want. There should be some mentoring, there should be some guidance, so that the universities have us, who are lecturers, who are going to mentor you, who are going to guide you, who are going to show the path, but who are not going to spoon feed you, who are not going to take you along the path all the time. So the path will be shown that you have to take it. So that's the difference that you will see between the teachers and the parents that you have been under until now, and the lecturers that you are going to meet very soon. But the inputs, the guidance, that the mentoring that you will be getting from these lecturers are going to pave much of your life for the future. I'm telling this with I'm telling this with confidence that many of you will remember this lecture for long time, for long terms, for long time in your life, you will be talking about some of the lectures that you heard during your orientation programs, and some of the lecturers that you have been listening to during the first, second, third, and fourth years of your university life. They are going to stay with you forever. Why I'm telling you this is, from here onwards, each of you are going to be developing your individual characters. Some of you will be brilliant at one thing but failing in another thing. Some of you will be very good at some subjects, the others in other subjects. And all these qualities and attributes that you develop during the next 4 years of your university life is going to take you to the path that you will take individually, not as a group, not as a batch. Each of you individually have to develop yourself during the next 4 years. And this may be the last chance that you are receiving in your life to correct whatever the mistakes that you may have done. We all make mistakes, but only few get chances to correct the mistakes. And you all have got a chance to correct whatever the mistakes that you have understood in your life and correct them and go for a new life from here, right? So having said that, I will start this particular lecture because, give me a second. I hope you can see my screen. Can you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You can
sir.
see my screen. Good.
Yes.
Right. So this particular, I'm not telling this as a lecture, rather than this, I would call it a talk, right? So this talk is going to give you some indication about what you are going to experience in Belihullaya over the next 4 years. And as you may know by now, Sabaragamuwa University is a university that provides university accommodation, or otherwise university hostels, for all the first year students. So that is ensured. Even if you are from Balangoda, you will be getting a hostel bed in Belihullaya, right? For the first year. It may not be the case in the second year, but for the first year, we ensure that everybody gets hostels. So it's a residential learning facility that you are coming into, right? And I am going to tell you, or otherwise I'm going to try and prove how lucky you are to be selected as a student entering the Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, right? So I have been gone through that luck. Choshani madam has gone through that luck, and we will never ever forget the 4 years that we spent as student in the university. And we are still talking how lucky we were. And you are going to do the same talk for the rest of your life. And this is the starting point for that, right? So the topic I'm talking about is feeling lucky at Sabaragamuwa University. But this is mainly to welcome you, the batch of the intake of 2022-2023 of the Faculty of Applied Sciences, welcoming you to the Mountain University of Sri Lanka. So this is something that I call Sabaragamuwa. Sabaragamuwa is the university in mountains, right? And so I'm also showing you some symbol here. Can you see my cursor? Can you see my cursor?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Because I'm not going to get the laser pointer in, because in Zoom the laser pointer is adding a lot of issues sometimes, and some of the students may not be able to, because the bandwidth goes up with the laser pointer. So I will use the cursor. So where I'm taking this cursor through is something that you're going to see in the backdrop of the university. Right? In the backdrop of Sabaragamuwa University, you're going to see this nice structure of 3 mountains, and this mountain, this highest peak is called the Paraviyangala peak, and we call it Adarakanda, right? Sabaragamuwa Adarakanda, and I'm sure that you must have heard of it. But when we were entering the university in 1997, no one knew about a mountain called Adarakanda because that was Parayangalakanda or Parayankanda, right? And now by today, Adarakanda has become a pretty popular mountain, which is more or less similarly popular like Hantana, right? So like the Peradeniya University has Hantana, we have Adarakanda behind us. And that is a symbol of Sabaragamuwa wherever you go. So this particular graphic was made to indicate our Adarakanda mountain. But it is not only that what I'm going to talk to you about. I'm going to talk to you about how lucky you are in terms of many aspects. It is not only the nature that you will have there. Number one, I would say, is that you are entering a residential university, at least for the first entire year. So you will get a chance to set up, to format, to make a habit of your life, to format your life, to prepare your life for the future. Over this 1 year in the hostels, together with a group of even-aged people who are more or less thinking the same way. I know that no one is thinking the same, exactly the same way with another, but you guys as a batch will be thinking more or less similar way than I think about something because of our age difference. So the age difference matters in some cases. Right? ඔගොල්ලෝ කියලා තියෙන සමහරට අපි හිතමු අම්මලා තාත්තලාට නැති වුණත් I'm sure you must have said your uncles or aunties ඕගොල්ලෝ මොනවද දන්නේ අපිනේ දන්නේ කියලා. මොකද they are thinking in a different frequency and you are thinking in a different frequency. That frequency is more or less unique to the age group that you are living in. So you are going to spend 1 whole year in your life, at least 1 whole year. පළවෙනි අවුරුද්ද ගැන විතරක් කතා කරත් at least 1 whole year you are going to spend your life with even-aged friends. And these friends are not going to be only belonging to the same sex as you. So you are going to be mingling with boys and girls of the same age. And that is a fantastic opportunity that you are getting in your life to format your life, to make your own personality among a community. And that is what you're going to do forever after this. You are going to go into something called the culture. You're going to go into the larger culture of Sri Lanka from the subculture that you experience in Sabaragamuwa or any other university. And these subcultures that you are living inside a university is a very good training, I would say, training pitch for you to be successful in the larger culture that you are going to face in the future. So the good thing, the nice thing is that you are going to have that experience in one of the best universities in the country. And I would personally say the most beautiful university in the country, right? I have no doubts about that. Sabaragamuwa is the prettiest, the most scenic, most beautiful university in the country. So one can say Peradeniya is better than that. I would say Peradeniya has the legend. Peradeniya is legendary. Peradeniya has a history. We don't have that long history. We only have a history of about 25-30 years, right? We don't have a legendary history, but in terms of beauty, in terms of the scenic value, Belihulloya is not second to any other university in Sri Lanka. So you are getting this fabulous opportunity to explore your life and format your life in one of the luckiest and one of the most scenic, one of the most interesting places in the country, right? And Belihulloya, the term Belihulloya is always famous for the beauty. From the time of Suddha, from the time of the British colonial rule in Sri Lanka, Belihulloya has been famous as a tourist destination. So you're going to spend your time, your life in this tourist destination. And this particular destination is so rich with something that I have been, I would say, amazed by, and I have been studying for my entire life, and I have still not completed studying it. That is called the biodiversity, right? So this particular area is so biodiverse, and you're going to experience, you're going to see, you're going to hear, you're going to feel some of the really interesting animals, plants, as well as other organisms such as fungi, right? Hatuarga, then so many small insect-like creatures. There are so many interesting things that you are going to experience over the next 4 years. So, for example, this is just to give you a glimpse of the biodiversity of Sri Lanka in the first slide itself. So this slide has number of animals and plants on my left-hand side. Let's say on my left-hand side. That is your right-hand side, right? And then I have another animal in the bottom. So the animal that is in the bottom, what is it? What is it? It's in my mug as well. What's that? Do you hear me? I told you I need interactions. Okay, chat is a good way of interacting, but I don't mind you talking as well, right? Yes, it's the elephant. And except for the elephant that is in the bottom of this particular slide, all the other animals that are here and the plant that is found here are found in close proximity to Belihulloya, and they are not found anywhere else in the world. They are endemic to Sri Lanka. And even within Sri Lanka, they are endemic to smaller areas. I'm not going to go into that particular each of these animals and plants because this is not a biodiversity lecture. So what I want to show is you're going to see so much of life that you have never seen in your life before. But for that, you need to keep your eyes open. You need to keep your ears open, right? If you want to see them, you can see them in Belihulloya. In addition to that, elephants are also found very close to Belihulloya, which are not endemic to Sri Lanka, but they represent another interesting addition to the biodiversity of Sri Lanka. These are representing the animals and plants that have come to Sri Lanka from India and got colonized inside the Sri Lankan island. This is the time when Sri Lanka was connected with India through a land bridge. This is more than 50 million years ago. So there was an interesting history behind the making up of animal and plant communities of Sri Lanka. So all these ones that are on the side have evolved inside Sri Lanka and become endemic, while things like elephants have come from India and got settled in Sri Lanka and now becoming more and more different from the from their parent generations that are found elsewhere, that are now separated because we have now become an island, right? So there's going to be a lot of things to see and a lot of things to learn in Belihulloya, right? So before, so I have been talking a little bit about my subject area as well, and this is to welcome you to where you are going to be. So this particular talk was meant to be done when you are there in Belhulda, right? So so if I walk my talk, if I talk about what I'm going to talk today, I will be talking about these things. We will first talk about where we are. But now for this particular online session, this is going to be where we are going to be in X number of months. I don't know when. You will be hearing very soon from the Dean, sir, when you will be taken up to be in Belihulloya, or when the hostels will be opening for you in Belihulloya. So where you are going to be in number of months is what we are going to start with. Then I will touch upon a little bit about the history of the Sabaragamuwa University as well as the Faculty of Applied Sciences, and then what the faculty is all about and what departments are there in this faculty. And these are, I know that many of these aspects, 2, 3, and 4, must have been already discussed by various lecturers in various topics. So I'm not going to, and especially your own department, sirs and madams, must have already given you some of these tastes. Some of these aspects have been discussed already. So I'm not going to take much time on number 2, 3, 4. But I'm going to spend a lot of time on number 1, where we are. And then I will also talk a little bit about number 5 and 6, our plans for you, and what is your future gonna look like, right? Before going there, this is just to show you again, where is this? The picture in the bottom. Where do you think is this? Anyone? If you're not talking, I'm not going to talk as well. Okay, let me ask you to raise your hands. Who do you think this is? Peradenian. Hmm? Okay, I see someone is giving an answer in the chat. I'm sure you must have seen this picture from someone else, maybe. And this is the Wala in Belihulloya, right? So we have an open air theatre similar to the Peradeniya Wala. We also have a Wala, and this is called Pani Bharata Elimahan Rangapita. It's not Sarat Chandra Elimahan Rangapita as in Peradeniya, but this is something iconic to Belihulloya as well. This is different to the Peradeniya Wala, right? And where we are going to be. So you will be residing for most of the next 4 years in the place called Belihulloya. In terms of latitudes and longitudes, you can see these coordinates that I'm not going to read through, but the area that you are going to stay is can be seen in a Google map like this, and this is what we call Belihulloya. When it comes to Belihulloya, let me first talk about the administrative setting, because it is important to know your geography as well, right? Whatever subject that you will be following, you may be studying sports sciences, you may be studying physical sciences, you may be studying food sciences, you may be studying natural resource management, natural resources and environmental sciences. Whatever the subject that you will be studying, it is important to know your geography a bit. You need to know where the north is. Hari උතුර කොහෙද කියලා දන්නේ නැතුව වැඩ කරන්න එපා කියලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා ඇති, and that is very true. You need to know where the north is, right? And you need to know where you are going, and you need to know where you are coming from, right? So the next time when you are coming to Belihulloya, try to see the path that you will be taking. Now there are a lot of technology. You have the Google Maps, you have the Google Earth, right? And the Google Earth also showed how the live, not live, I mean, the road, Google road images. So you can explore where you are going to. And when you are coming through, don't use your phone or don't use your whatever the tab or whatever screen. Rather, look at the outdoors. Look at the junctions that you're passing through. Look at the towns that you're passing through. It's going to be an interesting experience getting to Belihulloya, right? And when you are in Belihulloya, geographically or otherwise administratively, you are in the Imbulpe division of the Ratnapura district of the Sabaragamuwa province, right? Sabaragamuwa province, Ratnapura district, Imbulpe division. However, when it comes to the Sabaragamuwa province and the Ratnapura district, you are in a corner of this particular province as well as the district. Because after you pass Sabaragamuwa University or after you pass Belihulloya, if you go for another 20 minutes towards Badulla side, you are going to exit Sabaragamuwa province and enter the Uva province. Right? Exit Ratnapura district and enter the Bandaravela district, Badulla district, right? So we are at a corner of the Ratnapura district of as well as the Sabaragamuwa province within the Imbulpe divisional secretariat in a village called Belihulloya. However, Belihulloya is not exactly a village or a junction. You don't have a junction on the Badulla road called Belihulloya. But what you have is a river called Belihulloya. The river called Belihulloya is crossing the main road, and there is the Belihulloya rest house, the famous tourist destination next to the river. And this particular, I would say the Gramaniladari division or the village next to this Belihulloya river is called Galagam, right? And you are not getting down at Galagam and you are not getting down at Belihulloya if you want to come to Sabaragamuwa University. You pass that. You pass that and climb towards Badulla side or otherwise Bandaravela side. And then you are going to cross another river called Hirikati Oya or Hirikatu Oya. You can see even in this Google map, it is called Kirikati Oya, but villagers call this Hirikatu Oya. So it's not, Belihulloya is not the closest river to the university. The closest river to the university is actually the Kirikati Oya or the Hirikatu Oya. So after you pass the Hirikatu Oya, you come to a junction called Pambahin. And that's where the university is. You get down from Pambahinna Junction along the Colombo-Badulla road. And from the Pambahinna Junction, you go down to Rajavaka road. You literally go down because you're going along a slope from the Pambahinna Junction towards the Rajavaka side. And you have to go for about 500 meters. Nearly 1 kilometer to some of the hostels, and you get into the Sabaragamuwa University. And this particular university, you can see, as you can see from this Google image, is a really green university. You have so much of vegetation around the university. You have so much of forested patches within the university premises itself. When you are going from one faculty to another faculty, you are passing through picturesque, I would say, mountainous views, as well as some very interesting forested or woodland patches, right? So this is where you are going to be studying for the next 4 years. And earlier it was a satellite image, and this is a aerial image from a helicopter. And you can also see in the backdrop of the university, So if you, so this, in the previous slide, why it is not going back? Yeah, in the previous slide, you saw this playground, and this is exactly the same playground. And these are some of the faculties, and this is exactly where you are going to be in. This is the Faculty of Applied Sciences. And then the other faculties are around, and there are a few faculties on the foreground as well. And in the back, you can also see an interesting water body. And this particular water body is what we call, what is it? මොකක්ද මේ? Jalasha. What is this reservoir? Anybody? Any idea about what this reservoir is? Okay. Now you guys are using the chat, right? Not the mouth. Okay. Good. Samanala. Very good. Very correct. I'm going to ask you a question now. How can be Samanala here in Belihulloya? I'm going to link literature into this particular talk. I'm going to link a lot of geography into this talk. Make a chat. You have to answer. I'm sorry, students. I mean, I know that there can be Tamil speaking students. So I'm going to go bilingual, Sinhala and English. Unfortunately, I regret that I can't speak Tamil, unfortunately. So my next question is, why this is called Samanala Vava? Right? The Sinhala students or people who know a bit about Sinhala may know Samanalaya is the butterfly, right? And there are some things called Samanala in some other parts of Sri Lanka, but not in Belihulloya. Why there is a Samanala Vava in Belihulloya? I'm going to answer that later, but until then, I'll let you think about that. Right? So I talked to you about where we are in terms of latitudes and longitudes. And I also talked to you about where we are in terms of the administrative divisions. Now I'm going to talk to you about where we are in terms of altitude. What is altitude? Altitude is what? Altitude කියලා කියන්නේ මුහුදු මට්ටමෙන් සිට උස. How what is your elevation from the mean sea level, right? So in terms of the elevations from the mean sea level, Sri Lanka can be divided into 3 major steps, which are called peneplains. Those are clearly shown in this particular map. What we have in larger area that we have with number 1 or green color is called the first peneplain, or otherwise the coastal plains. These are not going to go beyond 300 to 400 meters in elevation, right? So that's the coastal plain with rolling landscapes. Then you climb up to the yellow area, which is called the second peneplain. And again, you have to climb another step to the third peneplain, right? Do you believe such a thing exists in Sri Lanka? ලංකාවේ කොහේ හරි ඉඳලා මූදේ ඉඳලා කඳුකරයට යද්දි පඩි දෙකක් නගින්න තියනවද? Imagine whenever you have gone through Sri Lanka, gone through the country, when you are going somewhere from one place to another. This is why I want you to be vigilant about where you are going, right? Know your geography when you are going from one place to another. Let me start a trip from here in Colombo and go towards the Ampara side in the east, right? This is more or less the Badulla road, or otherwise 99 road. When you are coming along the 99 road, you are not getting into any big mountains until Avissavella, even not until Ratnapura. Even after Ratnapura, you will start climbing a bit, but not a major climb. The major climb starts after Palmadulla. From Palmadulla to Balangoda, you are climbing steep. So that is the climb from green to the yellow area. Then in the yellow area, you travel again after you are on the top of Balangoda, you are not climbing anymore. After Balangoda, it's a rolling ride again, going up and down until where? Until Beragala. And there's a second climb from Beragala to Haputale. That is the climb from yellow to brown. Right? So Haputale is the highest point when you are traveling along the Badula road or 99 road. I'm not going to say that A4 road, right? More the A4 කියන්නේ 99 බස් එක යන පාර නෙවෙයි. A4 turns somewhere else uh, uh, from the Beragala junction. So don't worry about the A4. Let's talk about 99 bus route, right? 99 bus route එකේ තියෙන උසම තැන තමයි Haputale. From Haputale, you are again climbing, not really climbing, you are rolling down to Bandaravela. And then from Bandaravela to Badulla, you are on a steep slope coming down again. That is back from the brown area to yellow area. So Badulla is in the yellow area. And then Badulla to Mayanganaya, you are climbing down again. Mayangane is on the green area. So there are two steps. The same way, if you are starting a journey from Ambalantota or Hambantota down here and going towards Jaffna, you will come to Udavalav area. Until then, you are on the green or the first peneplain. Then you start climbing from this particular green area to the yellow area in Rajavaka, or otherwise, it's also called Handagiriya. Handagiriya Mohora, or otherwise Kaltota Mohora, not Rajavaka, sorry, Kaltota. So Kaltota Bayuma or Handagiriya Bayuma Naggama, you are coming into the second peneplain, which is yellow area. From the yellow area to the brown area, you have to climb a steep slope, which we call the world's end. Lokante. Lokante නැග්ගොත් දකුණේ ඉඳලා එන කෙනෙක් මේ yellow එකේ ඉඳලා brown area එකට එනවා. And on the top of the world's end, you are in the Horton Plains National Park. If you go further north, it's going to be Nuwara. In the Nuwara, you will find the highest mountain, that is Pidrutalagala. Then you go to Ramboda. From Ramboda to Mahanuwara, you are climbing from the brown area to yellow area. Then on the yellow area, you go from Nuwara to Matale. And from Matale to Dambulla, you are descending down from the yellow area to the green area. And from there onwards, until Jaffna, it is green. So larger first peneplain, then a smaller second peneplain ring, and in the middle, you have the high hills. So there are 3 steps. And this is a photograph that I took from my own camera from the Udawalawa National Park. Right? So Udawalawa National Park is somewhere here. So yeah, you are in the green area, which is the coastal plain or the first peneplain. And this is that coastal plain. And what you see here is the Kaltota escarpment or the Handagiri escarpment. And when you get up to the Kalpitiya, through the Kalpitiya Mohora, you get up to this particular point, and this exactly is Belihulloya. Right? You can see this dot from here. This is Belihulloya. And just next to the Belihulloya, just north of Belihulloya, what you have is the world's end escarpment. And on top of this here is Horton Plains National Park. So now you start imagining, dreaming where you are going to be in your university life. Right? This is an interesting place that you will be coming into, right? So the entire lecture that I'm trying to, during this entire lecture, which may go into nearly 2 hours or so, And I don't think many students will fall asleep in this lecture, right? Usually when I'm doing it in physically in a classroom, I have done this for 300, so groups of 200, 300, no one really slept. But I'm not sure whether it is the same when it comes to the virtual environment, right? So I want you to daydream, dream without sleeping, where you are going to be in Ballyhunter. So this is one aspect in terms of altitude. Then let's talk about in terms of climate, right? In terms of climate as well, you're going to be in a very strange place. So you know that the Sri Lanka is receiving two monsoon rainfalls. So from the southwest, we get the highest rainfall from the southwest monsoon, but the northeast monsoon brings more a little rain, but it is another monsoon. So that monsoon creates a drier area, but the southwest monsoon creates a wetter area. So we have a wet zone of the country in green, dry zone of the country in yellow, and there is an interesting light green patch, which is called light green belt, which is called the intermediate zone. In addition to that, there are two areas in Mana in northwest and Hambantota in the southeast, which are shadowed by both the monsoons. They are not receiving rainfall from none of the monsoons. So that those are semi-arid zones of the country. But our interest here is Belihulloya, and Belihulloya is interestingly found in this very narrow intermediate zone belt between the wet zone and the dry zone. So the wet zone, if you go from Belihulloya towards Balangoda side, when you are at Balangoda, that is 20 kilometers from Belihulloya, you are in the wet zone. If you go towards Badulla side, in like 25 kilometers, you are going to Beragala, and if you go down from Beragala to Allavaya, that is the dry zone. So you are in a thin belt between the dry zone and the wet zone. You are in the intermediate climate. There is no too much of rain and it is not too much dry. And you are going to get a breezy wind, a really interesting coldness. It gets a little bit too chilly in December and January, but otherwise it's one of the best climates for someone to live in Sri Lanka. And you may know that Balangoda has been ranked among the 10 best places to live in the world, right? In terms of climate and in terms of few other criteria, Balangoda has been ranked as one of the 10 best places to live in the whole world. So Belihulloya is just 20 kilometers away from Balangoda. Right. So you're going to have an interesting topography or interesting mountain range in terms of altitude as well as in terms of climate. You are going to be in an interesting area. Now I am going into another slide where I'm going to answer the question that I asked you earlier about Samanala Vava. The question I asked you is, why this Vava or why this Jalasha or why this reservoir in Belihulloya called Samanala? Anyone who knows something called Samanala in Sri Lanka? In addition to Samanala Vava? Samanala Vava tamatara monada okolu Samanala kiyala danne? Come on. It's very good. Samanala Kanda. Hari? Or Samanala Kanda කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? Samanala Kandට අපි යන්නේ කොහේ ඉඳලාද? Samanala Kandට නගින්නේ පාරවල් තියෙනවා තුනක් ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්. පාරවල් ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා හතක් ඇත්තටම. ඒ අතරින් තුනක් ප්‍රධානයි. රත්නපුරෙන් යන පාරක් තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ කුරුවිට එරත්නෙන් යන පාරක් තියෙනවා. රත්නපුර පලාබද්දලින් යන පාරක් තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ හැටන් වල නල්ල තන්නියෙන් යන පාරක් තියෙනවා. අපි හැටන් නල්ල තන්නිය පැත්තකින් තියමු. මොකද හැටන් නල්ල තන්නි පාර එන්නේ Central Highlands වල මැද්දෙන් ඇවිල්ලා. So if I talk about the area that we are close to the university or the road that we were talking about, it's the Ratnapura Palawaddala Para or Kuruita Ratna Para that leads you to Samanala Kanda. How far is Ratnapura from Belihullu? It's more than 50 kilometers. It's 1.5 hours of a ride. Samanala Kanda indala පැයක හමාරක් ගිහිල්ලා සමනල වැවට යන එක මේ දෙක ලින්ක් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? Can you link these Samanala Kanda and Samanala Vava? So Samanala Vava is here, right? I hope you can see my cursor. So this is Samanala Vava, right? This is Samanala Vava, and this is Belihulloya. This is the Badulla road. This red road is Badulla Baddaravela road, and you can see this road comes from Ratnapura. This is Ratnapura. Down here below this map, there is Palmadulla. From Palmadulla, it comes to Balangoda, and Balangoda to Belihulloya. And Samanala Kanda is here. And Samanala Vava is here. Why? Because there is something that we don't really understand, which is clearly mentioned in our literature. I'm sure you know about this song, or not a song, I mean the poem about the 4 major rivers of Sri Lanka, starting from the Central Highlands, right? Samanala, Kalani, sorry, Mahavali, Kalani, Kalu, Alave, Anaganga. What is the next phrase? Samanala, Kanda, Mudune, Sita, Panananga, right? I'm sorry, those guys who do not understand Sinhala. I can't really translate the poem to Tamil, but the poem says the 4 major perennial rivers of Sri Lanka, that's Mahavali, Kalani, Kalu, and Walave rivers, all are starting from Samanala mountain, right? Which is not scientifically correct. Samanala mountain is here, which is in English known as the Peak Wilderness Mountain or the Peak Adams Peak or the Peak Wilderness. That is where Kaluganga starts from, right? But all the other 3 major rivers, that is Mahavali, Kalani, and Walave, are starting from Horton Plains. It's down here. Why this guy, why this poet has mentioned Mahavali, Kalani, Kalu, Walave, Anaganga, Samanala, Kanda, Mudune, Sita, Panananga කියලා කිව්වේ? Because in the history, or let's say in the folklore, in the folk culture, අපේ ජන සංස්කෘතියේ this entire ridge starting from the Peak Wilderness, coming all the way to the Horton Plains or to the world's end here, is known as the Samanala Ridge of Mountains or Samanala Range. මේ Samanala අඩවිය, එහෙම නැත්නම් Samanala වැටිය. Samanala Ridge or the Samanala Range is ranging from Peak Wilderness to Ohia in Horton Plains. So it's a long range of mountains that are called Samanala Vatia or Samanala Adavia. So that is why the reservoir that is in the foothills of Samanala Range has been named as Samanala Vava. So these are interesting folklores, right? So today, most of the people know only Samanala Kanda here in the Peak Wilderness and Samanala Vava here. But there are interesting linkages. And this particular ridge, making a Kanduatia, this is the most interesting southern escarpment of the Central Mountains. Madhya Kandukare Dakunu Bayama tamai තියෙන්නේ. This is like a wall. It's like a concrete wall. And along this wall, there are so many waterfalls that are falling down from the 3rd peneplain to the 2nd peneplain. And when you are in Belihulloya, you are just half an hour away from the tallest waterfall in Sri Lanka. The tallest waterfall in Sri Lanka drops from here to here. This is the place where the drop that makes the Bambarakanda waterfall, the tallest waterfall. That is because it is dropping from the third peneplain, which is Horton Plains, down to the second peneplain. This area it's called Kalupahana. This is Belikulla, right? So you're going to see, you are going to, I would say you have the option of seeing so many interesting roads, so many interesting trails, so many interesting hiking experiences, and so many interesting waterfalls are around Belikulla area due to this very unique topography, right? You may have heard of the Nanparial estate. From Nanparial Junction on the Badulla Road, you can go on an interesting hike to the top of the world's end, to the Horton Plains National Park. And on that way, you are going through this interesting bend called the Baker's Bend. And there are many even more adventurous bends than this when you are going on these roads. Then you also have the second interesting hiking road called Devil's Staircase, Yakage Padipela. This Yakage Padipela is just above Bambarakanda waterfall. When you are going from Kalupahana to Ohia, either ways, either from the Nanparial Road or from the Devil's Staircase, you can climb up to the Horton Plains National Park, which is a completely different world up there, right? And when you go up there, you can look down from there to Belihulloya, not Balangoda. Hari, worlds and darling, Lokanten Palleha Beluam, Balangoda Bena Gyani Boru. I don't know how these things have been gone into some of the literature. So what you see is Belihulloya. What you see is the Nanparial estate, and the closest city that, the area that you see is the Belihullo area. You can also see parts of the university when you are looking down from the world's end, right? You really can't see Balangoda from the world's end, but there are few places in the Balangoda town which is far away from here. This is almost 20-25 kilometers away from world's end to Balangoda. But there are few places in the Balangoda town you can see the world's end scarp. World's end wala bauma pena tang tina Balangoda. So that may be the reason why people say Lokantem Pahalaveluam Balangoda pena kila, which is wrong. What you see is Belihulloya, right? And I told you that there are many hiking routes, and two famous hiking routes that many of the students are taking are the hike to the top of Adarakanda, or otherwise Paraviyangala mountain. And these are our students. And this is an annual trip that many students go on. And there is another interesting mountain called Hagala Mountain, Hagalakanda. And then, as I told you, there are two fantastic rivers. And these rivers are very unique, and you need to go there and experience it to see how unique they are. That's Belihulloya River and Hirikatu Oya or Kirikati Oya. Not only that, these slopes are making very interesting water features all along this terrain. One of the most beautiful water features, of course, is the Samanala Vava. Samanala Vava is not like the Victoria Reservoir. It's not, when you go to Victoria or even in Randenigala, to a certain degree in Rantambe as well, you see a basin full of water, right? There is a dam and the dam is blocking the water, and there is a basin full of water. But you don't see that in Samanala. When you go to Samanala, there is a very short dam. That is one of the most strategic locations to place a dam in Sri Lanka. And with a very short dam, they have blocked the Walave River, right? When they have blocked the Walave River, and you don't see a basin. What you see is three rivers that are that are swollen. One is called the main Walaveganga. The other one is Hirikatuoya. The other one is Belihulloya. So along these rivers that are meandering through the ridges, the water has filled up to show something like this. It's a fantastic view that you see in Samanalagawa. It's different to many other waterfalls. Then if you go down or if you go south from the Samanalagawa, you are going to see this magnificent waterfall called Duviliyalla. And Duviliyalla in Kalkota is found in the escarpment between the second peneplain and the lower peneplain. Right? So this is the water dropping down from Belihulloya down to Udavalava area. Right? And then if you go up from Samanalavawa, you are going to see this one. That is the first waterfall Valave Ganga is creating in Horton Plains National Park, which we call the Baker's Falls. Right? Then, so Baker's Falls is above Belihulloya, and Duvili Falls is beyond Belihulloya, and at the height of Belihulloya, at the level of Belihulloya, there are many other waterfalls that are falling from the third peneplain down to the second peneplain. One is this. This is a very close one to the university, but you can't see this easily. You have to go on a difficult hike to see this. That is called Kathigahana Ella, or the Galagama Falls. Then we have a very interesting waterfall called Pahantudav. Pahantudav is not a very big waterfall. It's a small one, but a fantastic view. Then you have the Nagrak Falls or the Nagrak Alla. Nagrak is the highest elevation where human settlements can be found in Sri Lanka. So this is when you are going along the non-imperial road towards the world's end. And this is one of the highest waterfalls in the country. Not the tallest, highest. Usaimma Pihiti Dialiveling ekak Nagrak Alla. And this is the tallest, the Bambarakanda Falls. So Bambarakanda Falls is about, as I told you, about 30 minutes away or maybe 45 minutes away from the university. It's in Kalpiti, in Halupahana, right? And then there is a very interesting waterfall. This is the closest one to the university. It's called Suratali, the Suratali Falls, right? And all these are really interesting. How many times you go there, you will again go, and again go. So it's never ending enthusiasm, never ending sensation is there in these places, right? And not only that, there is one waterfall called Lanka. Can you see the map of Sri Lanka being created by the moist of the waterfall? It's a very interesting feature. Lanka, then this Uduar, Nagadu. So there are so many waterfalls in the area. So that's about the natural beauty and the natural areas to explore, to hike, to get into adventure. But you have to be careful. You are responsible for every step that you take in these interesting terrains. You have to be responsible for yourself. You have to be responsible for your friends. So if you are doing exploration, you need to do exploration with a sober mind, right? සිහිය ඇති සතියෙන් තියාගෙන මිසක්ක සිහිය නැති කරගෙන මේවා විදින්න යන්න එපා. Secondly, you have to be very careful about the terrain. And there have been unfortunate incidences that our students have faced in the past. So these inspirational talks are not to lead to such unfortunate incidents. So you guys have to be careful when you are exploring these interesting areas. Let me just check. Because I saw at one point there was something in the chat. Is our area mining area? It's an interesting question because the next slide is going to talk about that. So I don't know who has asked this question, Puta. If you don't mind talking to me in any language. How the mining area get a prashna hui? I would really like to talk to you. if possible. What have you heard about mining in Belihulla? Anyone? Come on. කවුරුවත් කන්න බලාගෙන ඉන්නේ නැහැ මෙතන කතා කරාට. So anyone who can answer that question? So someone has asked a very interesting question from the class. That is there any mining area close to Belihulla? Anyone who can provide an answer if you know something about it? Okay, the time runs, so I have to talk if you're not talking, right? So this is something that goes down to 7th to 11th centuries AD. So long ago, between the 7th to 11th centuries AD, there has been not really mining, right? But smelting of iron or smelting of steel, making of steel weapons have been taken place in area very close to the university called Kinchiguni, right? So this is one of the oldest prehistoric iron smelting or steel smelting sites in the whole world. So this is a PhD thesis that was conducted in one of the British universities that have broken up or that have revealed this story to the world. And this is one of the oldest iron smelting places in the whole world. We have been doing that. Our ancestors have been doing that using one very important natural feature that you find in Belihulla. So what do you think is this natural feature? We don't have yapas. We don't have iron ore in Belihulla. Hari? යකඩ හදන්න යපස් ඕනේ. යපස් කියන්නේ යකඩ තියෙන පස්. එහෙම නැත්නම් යකඩ තියෙන ගල්. Right? So that is the raw material that you collect from the ground that contains iron. But that raw material needs to be processed to make iron or steel. In Belihulla, you don't get iron ore or yapas අපිට හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. But in Belihulla, you get something very important to make the process of heating iron. Okay, please make your mics muted. But I would like to unmute your mics and talking, but none of you are talking, so then keep your mics muted, right? So what are these interesting features that you find in Belihulla that are important for iron smelting? One, the wind. Okay, there is an answer. Great. In the chat, the wind. Very good. Why? Why do you need wind? Have you ever been to a blacksmith, to an ironsmith? සිංහලෙන් කිව්වොත් කම්මල්කාරයෙක් ගාවට. කම්මලකට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා නම් කම්මල් වල තියෙනවා there is something called miner hammer. Miner hammer is the machine or the apparatus that creates a continuous flow of wind through the place where the iron is smelt. යකඩ ගිනි තියන්න තරම් රස්නයක් ගන්න බෑ එක දිගට හුලං අහන්න බැරි නම්. So in Belihulla, you get that naturally. Can you remember, I told you, Belihulla is situated below the escarpment, below the southern wall of the central highlands of Sri Lanka. So if there is a wall like that, and during one time of the year, you get the southwest monsoon coming, that southwest monsoon has to climb along this wall. So that climb is a continuous stream of heavy winds during one time of the year. That is the time that our ancestors have used a very particular time of a kiln. උදුනක් හදලා තියෙනවා. මේ උදුනෙන් අර Mosam Hulang, Bataharaha Hulang Dara Vidhita Aragena. They have created pipe systems. These are clay pipe systems that are channeling the monsoon wind through them to the kiln where the iron is smelt. These are really interesting technologies of our ancestors, and one of a kind situation where this is being demonstrated in the whole world. This is again very close to the university in Kinchiguni. So that is a little bit about history, and this history has been recreated in one of the places that you are going to visit inside the Faculty of Applied Sciences. So I also have to owe you an apology for not changing this slide a little bit, because this is not really a proposed one. Now this is a reality. By the time I prepared this slideshow, that was 2 years ago when I was inside the university. Now, as Prashani Madam was saying, I'm on leave. I'm outside the university. So I'm the country coordinator for this organization called IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. But when I was in the university, when I was doing this particular lecture for a group of freshers 2 years ago, this was a proposed building. So we have been constructing an innovation center and learning commons for the students of the Faculty of Applied Sciences from a World Bank grant called AHEAD. In this AHEAD construction, can you see a wall here, down here? This wall is mimicking the walls that were created for ancestral iron smelting in Belihullu. So you are going to see something similar to these ancestral iron kilns in the Innovation Center when you get there to the Faculty of Applied Sciences. This was proposed, now it is a reality, right? And when talking about these modern architectural buildings that we built in 2023, we can go back to the history of Belihullu, the history of the Sabaragamuwa University, and that brings us to 1991, when for the first time, Sabaragamuwa Affiliated University College was born. And anybody who knows who this is? This person in the middle with the national. No one knows him? That is one of our former presidents by the name Ranasinghe Premadasa, R. Premadasa, right? And he is very good. I can see the answer in the chat. And he is the father of Mr. Sajid Premadasa, who is contesting to the presidentship on the 21st, right? And this is nothing related to Sajid I want to talk about. That's a completely different story. But this is one of this is the person who actually brought in the concept of expanding the higher education opportunities for the youth in Sri Lanka. So he created something called affiliated university colleges. Number of affiliated university colleges were established around the country to provide diplomas for particular subjects. And they were under the universities, fully fledged universities. For example, Belihullu Affiliated University College was under the Sri Jayawardhanapura University. And then they have started their academic programs in 1992. In Belihullu, it's about 225 students and so on. But however, by 1995, there was a really interesting student victory in Sri Lanka. The students who came to these affiliated university colleges, who had only about 1 or 2 marks below the students who have entered the universities and doing degrees in in Peradeniya, in Colombo, in Ruhuna, or in Kalania, were doing a protest saying, why, I'm sorry, why are we ending up with a diploma? We only had 1 mark or 2 marks below the other friends who are getting a degree from the other universities in Sri Lanka. So it, of course, was an issue. And even today, we are talking about the need of expanding the higher education opportunities in Sri Lanka. During that time, higher education or the degree holders or the graduates, university graduates were very seldom to be found. So these affiliated university colleges, although they were they were made to give more higher education opportunities, they were not giving degrees. So the students went into a protest, and by 1995, they won the protest and they were able to establish a new set of national universities out of these affiliated university colleges. And among them was the Sabaragamuwa University. And Sabaragamuwa University was a university created by combining 3 affiliated university colleges. That is Belihulloy Affiliated University College, then Rahangala Affiliated University College, which is which is very close to Ohio or close to Horton Plains, foothills of Horton Plains. It's Rahangala. And then there was another affiliated university college in Buttala. That is in the Uva province, of course. And those affiliated university colleges were identified as campuses of a single larger national university called Sabaragamuwa University. And I myself entered the Sabaragamuwa University as a new fresh student in 1997. Although the national universities, although Sabaragamuwa became a national university in 1995, the first batch of students were taken in 1997, October the 23rd. That is because before the new batches are taken in, the diploma batches has to be further trained into to be given degrees upon, right? So the 2nd February 1996 is the ceremonial establishment of the Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, and about 5,500 students are there in the university today with 8 faculties, starting from 225 students in 1992. So it's a long history that I have shortened because the talk today is not about history, right? So, however, I went to Buttala Affiliated University College, which was the science faculty of the Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, or the Faculty of Applied Sciences. So, coming with this sort of an interesting history, we today have a vision to be an internationally acclaimed center of excellence in higher learning and research in Sri Lanka. And we are going with a mission for advancement and in dissemination and the knowledge, while promoting the learning, research, and training to produce competent human resource for the development of Sri Lanka. So the university is now a fully fledged university with a very interesting emblem. You know about the logo that we have, the education in the center and the Samanala Kanda in the background, together with the symbol of gems to represent Ratnapura district and so on. And our main color is maroon and gold. And these are some of the interesting features about the history of our university. And by today, we have 8 faculties: Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Applied Sciences, Geomatics, Management Sciences. Medicine is already there in Ratnapura, then Social Sciences and Languages, Technology, and the Faculty of Graduate Studies. We are now offering PhDs, MPhils, and other postgraduate degrees as well. So these 8 faculties are now equipped with state-of-the-art buildings and a lot of new technology in Belihulloy as well as in Ratnapura. Of course, Faculty of Computing. So As I told you, this is an old presentation that I made 2 years ago. By then, we didn't have the Faculty of Computing. So we have 9 faculties, including the Faculty of Computing. And to add to the history, I told you the Faculty of Applied Sciences was initially in Buttala as the Buttala affiliated university college. By then, we only had 2 departments. That is the Department of Natural Resources, offering a food science degree and a natural resource management degree, and the Department of Physical Sciences, offering 1 physical sciences degree. But by now, not by now, along the evolution, we have gone into 5 different departments. That is food science and technology, natural resource management, sports sciences and physical education, then Department of Physical Sciences, and CIS, Computing and Information Systems. And that particular department has then later been promoted into a new faculty, the Faculty of Computing, just 2 years ago. So we have the 9th faculty, Faculty of Computing, which is born from the Faculty of Applied Sciences. And to the future, there's going to be another faculty that is being born, being given birth from the Faculty of Applied Sciences, that is going to be the Faculty of Sports Sciences. So we are on a very progressive path. Although we are about 25 years old, we have really taken a very progressive path over the last 25 years. So you are entering a university that has all the elements to be called a fully fledged national university that offers a multitude of degrees and disciplines. So you are entering a university to study a universal degree. So don't stick to the discipline that you are learning, you are mastering in. There will be a lot of multidisciplinary research opportunities linking these different faculties. So that's where you should be aiming to, right? In order to go there, you have a lot of facilities, really good hostel facilities. The library facilities are there. A new library is being built. But in addition to the physical library resources, there are so much of e-resources that are available. Then one of the best grounds in the area are found in the university as well. So with all this, I'm not going to go into these milestones. These are about how the Faculty of Applied Sciences has been developing from 1996 to the recent past. But I have not added the new faculties that are coming out from these 2 departments. The establishment of Department of Computing and Information Systems have taken place in 2011, and they have become a faculty of their own in 2022. And the Department of Sports Sciences and Physical Education, which was also born in 2011, is going to be a new faculty probably in 2025 or 2026, right? And with that, a huge number of undergraduate students and nearly 70 academic staff, including 12 professors plus few more. I am the 13th professor of the Faculty of Applied Sciences, and few more professors have also been given the professorship after this presentation was made. And there are so many other resources, and not only the laboratories, but also the outdoor resources, right? And with laboratories and so on. So with all these, we have number of world's leading faculties, the departments of food science and technology, Department of Natural Resources. There are no similar departments in any of the national universities in the country. It's the same when it comes to the computing and information systems, which have now become a faculty of its own. It's the same with the science, sports science and physical education, which is becoming a faculty of its own. And the physical sciences and technology department is doing marvels, and they are dividing into three majoring areas in the future. And so forth. With that, we are giving so much of SLQF level 6 honors degrees, not just bachelor's degrees. And also we are giving the students the opportunity to exit at the end of the 3 years, at least in the environment science and natural resource management degree, that and the physical sciences degree. That is to earn an SLQF level 5 qualification. So with all these background, with this all this environment, with this all resources, we have a lot of plans for you. So as I told you, I myself and many other the graduates from the university have been serving the university for, I'm now, this is my 19th year in the university. And what we are doing here is planning the future of Sri Lanka. So you're going to get an applied sciences degree. And this particular degree will have more or less 4 years. And you're going to get an honors degree. So you will be completing a complete research project for 1 year. And that means you are becoming a competent scientist who finds new frontiers for the science. Otherwise, you can't write a research, write a thesis. There should be something new that you find to the world at the end of this 4-year journey. And that starts from basic subjects in the first year, core subjects being introduced in the second year, and going into the advanced topics and field as well as applied concepts in the third and fourth years. And finally, doing your own research projects and writing a dissertation and defending your dissertation at the end of the fourth year. And it is important that all these programs are conducted exclusively in English. So as I told you at the beginning, there are few things that you will never ever get another chance in your life to master in. One of those is English. We are not going to penalize you in your first year for English failures. But from the second year onwards, you will be penalized. You're going to get minus marks for English errors. And by the fourth year, you need to write a thesis. You need to write a dissertation in English and defend your findings in English. And we will make you go there. We will provide you all the facilities for you to go there. It's your responsibility. No one can take you holding from your finger along the path because you are now in a university, right? And these curricula that you are studying are being updated every 5 years. So you are learning the latest knowledge found in the whole world. And it is not only that old building that you saw in my previous aerial photograph. This new building is now there for you. This was proposed 2 years ago, or actually proposed about 7 years ago. But now you can see this building in place. Of course, with the government failing to secure finances for some of the improvements, the building is not fully furnished as yet, but at least we have got the new building. So the Faculty of Applied Sciences is further being expanded. And during these expansions, not only the Faculty of Applied Sciences, there you can see there are plans for new buildings. And with these new plans for new buildings, we also did something very important that many of the universities have not done with a purpose. That is, setting aside a forest patch to be called a reserve inside the university. We call it SONA. SONA was a concept that I brought in to the department through the Department of Natural Resources, and it went from the Faculty of Applied Sciences into the Senate of the Sabaragamuwa University and the Council of the Sabaragamuwa University, and it has been approved by the Council that we will keep this particular belt as the SONA, that is Sabaragamuwa University Nature Reserve. And just after establishing this nature reserve, we were able to record this very interesting python from the nature reserve itself. So it's not, it is a life overwhelming place, much of life. I know that the python might be giving some sort of a negative feeling to some of you, but for me, it's a fantastic creature. But I just wanted to show you that it's not only pythons, but also many interesting birds, many interesting butterflies, so much of interesting flowers, and so much of overwhelming biodiversity can be seen along this interesting nature reserve that we have identified within the university. And the university have its own bird, an own flower, and own tree. The university bird is this fantastic bird called the Skimita babbler, Dademelicha. This is a very interesting bird. If you see it, it's a fantastic, nice bird. And many of you may not see it, but you are definitely going to hear this sound in the morning when you wake up in Belihulu. The sound called that is the Skimita babbler, right? And this is Guinea. This is kind of a binara, right? Guinea binara, Hexacum trinervium is identified as the university flower, and Syzygium silenicum, which is called Yakada marang, is identified as the university tree. Why it is Yakada marang? I told you, all the resources that are best for iron smelting have been there in Kinchigune. It is not only the wind, but also the best fuel. The best fuel to smelt iron has been the branches of this particular tree called marang. The marang tree is flowering in white so beautifully, as you see in this particular photograph. But even when it is not in flower, its flush is purely goldish pink. So the flushing marang trees are so beautiful to see. And you will see when you are there, it has one of the strongest branches, which are generating so much of heat when they are burned in the iron smelting kilns, which were used by our ancestors. So these are the university emblems or university symbols, which were declared on the 2nd February of 2022. 2nd February is the university day. If you can remember, the university was born on the 2nd February 1996, right? So likewise, there are so many interesting things to talk about the university, and it is not only the beauty and the other resources that we have around the university that we want to talk about. We also want to talk about our products. It has been proven over and over. This is the employability data from 2017, which is quite old, but this is being improved over the past. 91.9% of the applied science graduates of Sri Lanka, including Sabaragamuwa University, are employable. They get employment within the first 6 months after graduation. And even the 9% who are not employed are demanded, but they don't go to the jobs. Some of the girls may refuse to go to a job. That is fine, because you have got the knowledge. You are a graduate. You think differently. You are escalated by the knowledge than many others in the society. So the applied sciences graduates are very successful in being employed. And when it comes to Sabaragamuwa University compared to the others, we are quite ahead. We are far ahead than Javardhanapura, than Ruhuna, than Peradeniya. We are very close to the Uvavellasa, Kalaniya, and Colombo, right? So our graduates are getting very easily employed, and we see that every year. I mean, because It is very difficult for us to find few demonstrators who are there to stay for 1 year after you get graduated in the Faculty of Applied Sciences. Our graduates who comes as demonstrators are picked up by other companies, by other universities, by higher degree opportunities all the time, right? And with all these fabulous ingredients for your life, they are placed in front of your feet. But we cannot make you go there. You have to go there. We can just support, we can just assist, we can just mentor, and we can show the way. The future is in your hands. So the degree program in the Sabaragamuwa University, in the Faculty of Applied Sciences, is not only to provide you with a career opportunity. Although we say that our students are getting jobs very easily, our students are very much employable, we are not creating graduates for the market. We are creating an intellectual human being who will serve the country, who will serve the world, who will serve the humankind. But then the world, when it comes to today, the country needs your service. And that is where you should be heading to. Taxpayers of Sri Lanka are looking forward to seeing you flourishing as a nation building scientist, right? And the nation building scientists are those who are coming out from the doors of the Sabaragamuwa University in 4 years' time, which is you. Each of you are going to contribute to the building of Sri Lanka to the next level. Of course, some of you may be doing the same thing for the world because the sky is the limit for you. It's not on even just the world. Some of you may be going into Mars in time to come because it's how the world is progressing. But remember, you have been learning for 13 years in the school by the money. Someone else have been paying for your knowledge that you have gained, the experience that you have gained, the sports that you did in your school, the aesthetic experiences that you had in your school, the fun that you had in your school. Someone else has been paying for that. That's the taxpayers. And those taxpayers are ready to pay for another 4 years of your advanced learning. It's going to be a huge amount that they are paying. And they are ready to do that. Someone else is paying for each and every minute that you spend in those hostels, that you use those sporting equipment, that you use those buildings, labs, and the outdoor experiences that the government of Sri Lanka has created for you in Sabaragamuwa. And you will have an opportunity to pay back in time to come. And when that comes, we would like to see you doing that. Remember, your future will be the country's future. And if you flourish, the country will flourish. And if you do not flourish, it's going to be the fate of the country as well. So that being said, I may have taken almost 2 hours by now. I, together with all the academic staff of the Faculty of Applied Science, wish you a happy journey ahead. And remember, these 4 years are going to be unforgettable in your life. And please don't forget this lecture that you heard in your first year. Thank you so much, Putha. And I really am open to any questions that you would like to ask or any comment that you would like to make. Thank you. Toshani, would you be checking the chat for me?
Yes, I'm checking, sir. Lots of thank you messages from them.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to have particular
Yeah,
questions.
please, if there are
Everyone.
any questions, please come out with, I mean, we can speak. I can spend another 15 minutes with you.
So if you have any questions, please talk. So sir is willing to stay with you for a few more minutes, and you won't get this opportunity. So if you have time, if you have anything, please don't hesitate. Please ask. Lots of thank yous coming up, sir. I don't see any questions.
You're most welcome, and thanks again. I mean, you have been here. I know that there were nearly 150 students.
Yes, sir.
So
I think this was
staying
the full capacity. Normally we have around 130, and today we have 138. So it was like 140 today. So I
great.
think they had a very long day today. They had
I
sessions from
know.
9
Yeah.
in the morning, but still they have been staying here. So thank you all the students for that. We appreciate that. And sir, thank you once again. I'm sure even if they had a very slight doubt about coming to Sabaragamuwa after listening to you, that would have faded away, and they might be dreaming to come to the university now, our beautiful university. So as I mentioned, there are lots of things for you to explore here, and we are almost of the lectures that you had were from our own alumni, and sir is also one of our alumni from the very first batch. So you can dream of being people like that, and you have that opportunity. So
Excuse me, Joshi.
Nalini,
I'm here.
okay.
Yeah, I tried to
So,
raise my hand, but it was the wrong emojis that I pressed, it
okay.
seems.
Yeah, so
I'm so
ma'am,
sorry.
over to you to talk.
No, it's all fine.
And
It's all fine. I was just afraid that you're going to close the session. That was why
no,
I
I
was
was not.
just.
I was waiting for you to pop in.
It's all fine. And thank you, sir. I was all here. We also had a long day with the third year students in a field visit today.
I'm sure. I know that you were in the field, so
Yeah,
thank you.
and like I only came home to when you were starting the session to open it,
Great,
and
great.
through the entire time I was here too, with the same
Thank you so much.
enthusiasm that I was listening to your lectures as your first batch of students some 15 or so years ago.
Exactly, exactly.
So I
So
always know that you
yes,
are proud of all the students that you have taught, including ourselves.
including Deep Shanti madam. So Deep Shanti has been in the first batch that I was teaching as an assistant lecturer in the applied science faculty. So thank you so much, Deep. And then Dr. Deep Chandi Lekamge is doing marvels in the faculty of, Department of Natural Resources today. And Choshani in the faculty Department of Food Sciences. And it's really interesting to see our products doing this wonderful academic exercises plus and plus. Great.
Thank you so much. So it's a real honor. Thank you so very much. I just wanted to make sure that I also speak up here in this session because I've been there for many of these sessions. So almost all of the students maybe know myself as well. So, but I still wanted to talk a bit. Actually, it's not going to be so appropriate after very insightful, very motivating talk. I'm not just going to talk about you, but I wanted to make sure that our students are going to be really inspired by seeing people like you in the academic staff. The faculty is so empowered, and the faculty is such a nice place that you will get your own motivation every time you step into the faculty, step into the department, step into the buildings. You will all the time see many inspirations for you all to shape up your futures. So that privilege is every minute there inside this faculty. So make sure that you get the maximum out of it. In the morning, it was Tony who was from our batch talking to these students, sir. And then they had the English sessions, and without a slight deviation of their motivation, they stayed here until it's almost 7 now, and still we do have some 130 plus students, which is going to be
That's great.
really great. Yes.
That's really
So I
wonderful.
just
And
wanted to thank you, and I actually wanted to for the students to know that we are such a faculty that we always have this family feeling when it comes to like, actually, we don't need to thank you because you are family, and like the family does never thank
Exactly.
family. So I really believe that the students are now already getting this message, getting this feeling that they are already in. It has been like
Yeah.
few
And one
days
other
now.
thing that I would really like, I would like to
Yes, sir.
say here is that students now, you won't really believe this until you are there, right? So each of you are going to be a change maker for the future. It can be, I want it to be for the country, because many of us, including all these who have been talking in front of you, Choshani Madam, Deepshandi Madam, they all had a chance to flee the country. The country has been going through difficult times, right? But we all stayed because we all have a hope for the country. We all have a hope for Sri Lanka. I know that the new generation, I see this from the parents of the new generation, talking always that this new generation is not going to stay in the country. But it is not going, it should not be the case. And I know that you are not going to flee the country. There's a lot for us to do for Sri Lanka. And we are born in one of the best places for one to be born in the world. And we, almost all of us, have some experience going around the world. And it's an amazing place that you are born in. And I was just adding some salt to that. You are going to be learning for the next 4 years in another amazing place like that. And there's a lot for you to do. And also, you will be very influential, right? All of us are in very influential places. We are changing the country. We are changing the world. We are changing the way things are happening in the world. And that strength has come to us from the university that we studied in, from the schools that we studied in. So you are going to get that baton. You are going to get that the confidence from the university, and you have to take the baton from us and run the marathon, right? So thank you so much again and again. Thanks, Deep and Shoshani, for
Thank you, sir.
the wonderful
It has really
inspiration.
been wonderful. Thank you so very much. And sitting with Choshi from here to see you from there, it's
Yeah.
again a privilege for us as well. And we wish to
Yes.
see you back soon.
And yeah, I will be forever with Sabaragamuwa, wherever I work, wherever and when it comes to the level of influence that you can make, you also have to go to those levels as well. So I have been doing that all the time. So I am in the university, I'm doing the work, but at the same time, there are instances where you have to step up and do the things that you can do. That is another thing that you need to learn. All these will come in your future as well, right? So good luck.
Thank you, sir. And good luck, everyone. And good night.
Thank you so much, sir.
And have a nice weekend. So it's a
You
hard
too.
day, but tomorrow is a holiday. Cheers then.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for all the students. Just one, I have an announcement for you all. Regarding the talent show, if you can nominate 5 people, like one main coordinator and one coordinator from each department, and send me an email, we can give you more details about organizing our talent show and what has to happen. So if you can send me an email with 5 names, one from each department and one main coordinator, we can organize a meeting and then update you more on the talent show and the requirements. So with all that, thank you so much. Thank you once again for Sandhan sir for conducting this session, and also thank you everyone, all the students, for staying with us for this session right throughout the day. So once again, have a lovely weekend and good night, all of you.